amassing a coalition of progressive and liberal support. So there will definitely be a contested, tight race to see who ultimately will return to state government and take over that position of governor for Nathan Deal. Reporting live in Atlanta, José Zozaya for News Leader 9.
A big win for Kemp in that nomination tonight. Thanks very much, Jose, live from Atlanta.
As you can see on this map, this is that general area right here where officials say this all began. Now, to give you an idea of a larger picture of the area, 2 blocks away, we see here is the St. Elmo Elementary School and a couple businesses here, again, around 2 blocks away. We also want to show you some video of the scene that our News Leader 9 crews were able to capture this afternoon, more than 12 hours after this call came into 911 dispatchers. Good evening and thank you all for joining us tonight for News Leader 9 at 11. I'm José Zozaya, filling in for Chandler Morgan. Jeremy Gray, who just won the District 83 runoff for the Democratic nomination. He joins us right here live on News Leader 9/11. First of all, congratulations, Mr. Gray.
Thank you, sir.
Just 2 days into the summer season, the countdown now shifting toward the 4th of July.
And as we get closer to the holiday, one East Alabama city wants to make sure its citizens are informed about new fireworks laws.
Jason Cagle and his supporters would say they're feeling energized and confident going into Tuesday's runoff against Brian Kemp. We begin with an overnight shooting that has claimed the life of one man in Columbus. Police were called to respond to Piedmont Columbus Regional. That is where they found the victim, Timothy Frederick Whitehead. A closer look at the damage inside the Government Center Tower in Columbus reveals what city inspectors now confirm to the council. 36,000 gallons of water leaking from the top, flooding into several courtrooms and offices. After a Lee County jury quickly handed back a guilty verdict in the murder of Cordera Johnson, prosecutors today arguing that Cordera Calloway receive a sentence that reflects the brutality of his crime in 2015. Columbus police detectives testifying the opposite, saying he used the opportunity to record illegal video by placing his cell phone underneath her skirt. It's a line you'll usually hear from politicians, but local entrepreneurs in the Chattahoochee Valley area believe the same thing, that small businesses are the backbone of the local economy. Roads like Calumet Drive in Midland closed off to traffic as Columbus city government assesses the impact brought on by heavy rainfall to several streets and bridges. This technology can not only have an environmental impact in the community, but also a positive short-term economic impact. Investigators were able to lift a set of fingerprints from one of the doors of the victim's car parked right here outside of the restaurant. They say that set of fingerprints belongs to the suspect, Eric Spencer. Experts in Columbus are inviting parents, teachers, caregivers, and other professionals to change the conversation when it comes to addressing childhood trauma.
Be a bulldog for Georgia, not a lapdog for D.C.
An air of confidence surrounding Lieutenant Governor Casey Cagle and his team, flying across Georgia all day Monday ahead of Tuesday's crucial primary runoff. Local supporters enjoying conversations with Cagle during his 30-minute stop at the Columbus Regional Airport. The next 24 hours, the most critical for the Lieutenant Governor, as his opponent, Secretary of State Brian Kemp, also tries to rally more support on the heels of both President Trump and Vice President Pence endorsing his campaign. Despite that, Cagle says Governor Nathan Deal's endorsement matters more to state Republican voters.
The difference is Governor Deal knows his state. He has governed the state. He understands every aspect of this economy, but he's traveled in every community of Georgia. He knows it best, and he has said very clearly that Casey Cagle is the best choice to be the next governor of the state of Georgia. All right.
On top of other endorsements from the NRA and sheriffs across the state, including Harris County Sheriff Mike Jolly, Cagle believes his campaign will carry enough bipartisan support to ensure that he takes the race in November against Democrat Stacey Abrams.
We can also reach across the aisle to make sure that we win successfully in November. The polls have shown that I have a significant lead in November against the Democrat, and whereas my opponent, I think, has a much more difficult time, if not an impossible time.
Raw emotion spilling outside of Columbus Recorder's Court as alleged victims of Columbus attorney Bill Snipes, accused of stealing millions of dollars, waited to see whether or not he would have bond.
Lisa Clyett says it's been 2 years since she was injured in a car accident. She hired Snipes as her attorney, but not soon after, she claims he forged her signature, pocketing $28,000 in insurance claims meant to cover her medical bills.
He didn't have the right to force down there and catch our money, then spend it the way he wanted to. Why we couldn't spend it the way we wanted to? Because he did it. He's a liar. He's a thief. He deserved to be in jail.
Client and other former clients brought their complaints to the State Bar of Georgia, leading to an investigation into Snipes' alleged insurance fraud. By March 12th this year, the Georgia Supreme Court ordered the 64-year-old, quote, be suspended from the practice of law in Georgia. By mid-April, Columbus Police's Financial Crimes Unit issued warrants against Snipes. 18 counts of felony theft affecting a total of 9 victims. Snipes' defense attorney, Atlanta lawyer Jerry Froelich, argued his client's original $1.2 million bond was ridiculous because Snipes poses no risk.
He is in very, very bad shape. And this stuff, well, he can't use a cane in the jail because it's a weapon. And so he can't get around.
These arguments, including telling Judge Julius Hunter the bond amount put his client in the same category as gang leaders and drug dealers, garnering shouts and criticisms from those in and outside court.
When did he get the money to pay the attorney for?
I don't know what it was about. And, there's people, highly, I understand people are angry, so I get them.
When asked how Snipes paid for his legal services, Froelich walked away, ending the interview, but confirming Snipes turned himself into the Muskogee County Jail on Sunday. Client says she is still waiting for justice.
I just stay in jail. He'll be right in jail. I don't care what happened to him. We just want our money.
In Columbus, José Zozaya for News Leader 9.
Born just years after the Civil War, transforming over the decades into a national day of observance, the men and women at Fort Benning doing their part to honor their fallen brothers and sisters on Memorial Day.
A poignant ceremony right in the main cemetery, where hundreds of soldiers and their families now rest, men and women who sacrificed their lives in defense of this country. Among those gathered, top brass on post, Gold Star families, veterans, and lawmakers. Fort Benning's commanding general, Gary Brito, spoke to the audience about today's recognition and the legacy of the fallen.
Memorial Day can be a difficult time for many, and although they are no longer with us today, we have every reason to be inspired by their service, dedication, their leadership, and most importantly, their patriotism.
What is now called Memorial Day was first formally observed in 1868, when families and veterans decorated the graves of both Union and Confederate soldiers. The flowers and flags now laid before these tombstones, tokens of eternal gratitude.
I am very thankful for the path they laid for me and for all of us, men and women who have served the country dutifully and helped shape our proud identity.
In Fort Benning, José Zozaya for News Leader 9.
Right now, I'm just existing, barely surviving, and, it's sad, but it's the truth.
Army veteran Charles Collier has made do with what he can in his humble home in Lafayette, Alabama. For some time, Collier, who has breathing problems, and his dog Mickey and cat Callie have spent sleepless nights because there's no air conditioning to help him breathe and little money to solve this problem.
You're not supposed to be soft. You're not supposed to be weak. But once you get up in the age, you need to ask for help.
So Collier called the Walmart Supercenter in nearby Valley to see if anyone could help him find the right AC unit for his budget. After learning Collier's story, Department Manager Donald Howard felt in his heart he had to help.
I have a soft spot in my heart for veterans because I think they've been dealt a lot of bad hand. My faith and my religion, it just kept telling me I need to help this man.
This is what Howard says he told Collier over the phone.
You just come on down here, we'll get you one.
By the end of his trip to Walmart, Collier came home with a new window unit. Howard told him to pay what he could and that he would cover the rest of the bill.
And he made sure that I had money in my pocket so I would have food. That's a true person that cares about people.
It's an act of kindness Howard's colleagues want to celebrate.
Being that I am a Marine Corps veteran, it does tug on my heartstrings a little bit more when it comes to my military family. And hearing his story and hearing what Don did to take care of him, it melted my heart.
Collier says he will sleep a little better at night, now knowing his neighbors and his community care about him and his health.
This is the way Americans should treat Americans and neighbors should treat neighbors. With them, they're able to give me a better life and my animals a better life.